Welcome to the Q&A segment at the Transparent Conversations powered by LG. I'm Cari Champion, and today's topic is collaborative approaches to mental health initiatives at organizational levels. I'm thrilled to be joined today by our panelists, Dr. Alisia Tran, Coach Dar, and Kate Fitzgerald. Ladies, let's jump in. So we've been talking here again at the tailgate for the Final Four, and the audience has questions. I love when the audience is intrigued and they want to know more. This is for you, Dr. Tran. Do you feel like the biggest advocate for student-athlete mental health? Do you feel like you are, as a faculty member, the biggest advocate for student-athlete mental health, or is there a consensus that this is a priority on campuses?
Oh, wow. I like that. That's a tough question. I feel like I think that there are many partners that I have in this mission. And I think that I have heard people demonize some individuals or some like parts of teams and things like that. Like, oh, the coaches don't care that. And I've sat down with coaches. I've sat down with people in athletics, and so much just genuine desire to help and support. But I think what's really the hard part is not knowing what to do. And I'm part of the NCAA's mental health advisory group, and I've been in rooms with people who want to support. And it's really about finding a way to come together and be together and hear each other when they're in the situation where it's so go, go, go.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I think the system is probably the bad guy here. I think that the best advocates are honestly, it's going to be the athletes themselves, because we need to know what they need. I hope that I'm a strong advocate, because I'm trying to do a lot of work to support athlete mental health, but I'm sitting here with some great advocates. So I cannot say that I am the best advocate at all. I think that we have a lot of great stakeholders.
You said you think the system might be the bad guy. How do we get in a world where the system understands the priority, much like the NCAA understands that women's sports are just as valuable now? How do we get to a world where we wake up one day and say, this is it?
Yeah, we have to work together, because one individual is not going to be able to take on a system, but together we can really change things. And so the responsibility is on all of us to partner together, and all of us to not assume that we are the only expert. And that's why, I would hate to have said that I was the best advocate. So to just know, I might not be the best for, let's say, motivation. Maybe I turn to Coach Dar for that. Maybe I don't have the best perspective on student athletes right now, so I turn to Kate. And then also, like communicating that you're a great advocate, putting it out there in the public sphere and saying this is a really important topic. We're April Mental Health Month, those kind of things. We have to lean on each other's, what, that Michael Jordan quote was, intelligence, and then bring that together with teamwork. And so if we could partner together, that I think is what will change.
Kate, I'll give this one to you. How do you think the stigma around student-athlete mental health has evolved over the years?
That's a great question. I think it's gotten a lot better. I really do. I think that even from my freshman year, I came into college with COVID. I was graduating high school class of 2020. And I mean, just coming out of that to now, I think that people have put effort and put time and listened to the student athletes and said, okay, this is something that we need to prioritize. This will make our athletes better, which in turn makes the university better, which in turn makes people better, So I think that it's nowhere near where it could be and where it's growing to, but I do think it's improving. And I think people are starting to really listen to athletes. And I think a lot of it started by the professional athletes, just like the story you shared earlier, Simone Biles, different people being able to step up and say, this is an issue. And obviously everything is controversial in its own thoughts with what everyone did, but I think it's evolving in a great way.
It's a blessing and a curse to be the first, because when Simone said it and Naomi said it, there was a lot of criticism with it. But now, to your point, it's not as foreign to hear.
Can I add one more thing?
Sure.
I also think it's really interesting to look at the difference between male and female student athletes and mental health, because I do think it needs to be looked at differently. Female and male athletes express, and look at their sport in a very different light. And especially at the college level, I think that female athletics is growing tremendously, and that's incredible. And there's also male athletes who, I as a beach volleyball player, there's no pro for me after this unless, it was completely my choice. There's no drafts and those different things. And certain female sports have that, certain male sports. So I think that ability to look at both different sports with a different look of their mental health, and also the male and female response to mental health and how they identify in their sport, I think is really powerful moving forward, and that kind of needs to evolve too.
And I also feel like that's just foundational. Men and women express themselves differently, period, right?
Yeah.
So
we
when we're
treat
stressed,
sports differently.
yeah,
too.
we treat sports differently, we move differently, we react, we respond
Exactly.
differently, our competitiveness is different. This is for you, Coach Dar. From your experience working in pro sports, what are some differences and similarities you've seen between pro athletes and collegiate athletes?
Great question. So in pro sports, it is very much more of a business and they know it's a job, whereas in college, they're hoping for maybe to go on to the pros, but to your point where we could say there might be more, there's more than just this. In pro sports, they feel like this is my whole world, it's my job, I have to bring it. And so the pressures are a little bit different, but college sports has become a lot of pressure where you want them to have more than just the sport, because there's going to be life after the sport for a majority of college athletes. So trying to help them with that transition and mentality so they could handle the pressure and also learn that there's more beyond helps so much.
I'm curious if you think NIL changes that, because now it's a job with NIL.
Yeah.
Not that it's every single athlete making an astronomical amount of money, but there will, I believe, if you look at the landscape, athletes are going to be paid. They're going to be employees.
Yeah.
And it's coming
and that
sooner.
brings pressure.
Correct. So,
Yes.
so the similarities will
Yes.
then be more obvious, perhaps.
More obvious. And teaching them how to handle this, teaching them how to use their voice, teaching them how to handle the pressure, and knowing that also they don't have to take every deal that comes. It's got to be the right fit.
Yeah.
Because I just was at conferences all day yesterday about this, and you have to make sure it's the right fit, that you're not just taking it to take it as well, and that it aligns with who you are.
Well, and I think too, what's going to happen is then we need more filters, and thinking about the filters for like, okay, what are you going to let come in and what's going to hurt your mental health that we need to keep out.
Exactly.
And so teaching us how to
Well, then we should just remove
Fortify.
our phones, guys. When we like, I mean, everyone get rid of their phones.
Everyone
Just
just
throw
get
your
rid of
phones
all
away.
their
That's the only way
computer
mentally we're
phones.
going to be able to do this.
I would love it if we could do, I mean, just 30-day detox.
I want.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
wait a second. We're geniuses. Women
Yes.
solve all problems. I am telling you right now, if there was a rule in which athletes could not be on their phone, they had to give their phones before practice and after practice, and keep and the coach could keep their phones for a certain amount of time.
Absolutely.
It's like
It's making
game
Kate
day.
nervous.
After game.
After a game. Phone, please. Phone,
doesn't
please.
like this.
Phone,
Yeah.
please. Phone, please.
For
No, I
3
think
days.
I think we are. I mean, most coaches I'm aware are like, you're on your phone during practice. No, that's not okay.
Well,
I think I like what you're saying of like
Sure.
after practice too.
Hold
Like,
on to it.
You just like
How about after a game?
doing things with your teams to just like set those boundaries of like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't need to go on social media. My teammates and I talked. I haven't had Instagram or TikTok or Twitter on my phone downloaded.
For how long,
this
young
whole
lady?
This whole semester, I download it when I need to do something. If I need
Oh,
a post.
wow.
And a couple of my teammates and I
Wow.
actually talked about this together, and like a few have joined me, a few already were, and I was even talking about this with my parents the other day of taking social media, because it's still important. I mean, it's a business now for people,
Especially with
and
NIL.
especially
It
with
is.
NIL, like you need to focus on it, but we can access it from our computers, and there's less algorithm tracking with your
Or
computer.
you can have your little brother or
and you
sister
can have-
post for you. You can have somebody
Absolutely.
post for you. Don't pay them anything.
But you can
But
filter.
we can filter. So that's
Yeah.
what I've done, as well as a few of like friends of mine, where you're able to just, not have it on your phone. So it's that quick dopamine release and that quick like
You got to
thing.
get rid of it.
And you go on your computer in the morning, at night when you need to do work, and you're able to still check up on everything, see what's going on in the world. You're still able to do your posts, do what you need to do, but it helps with your mental health a lot.
It helps with
dramatically.
everyone's mental health.
Absolutely.
They tried to take my phone during the podcast. I was like, it's my brain. I can't even function without it. So I'm telling myself this as you'd explain it. Yes. Okay. With that being said, we had huge numbers for the women's final and even for the Final Four. And I'm really curious because this has been such a topic, and I have been on a few shows discussing it. I'm really curious what you think Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are telling themselves today.
Oh, wow, that's a
The
huge
mental
question.
aspect of it all. Because there's so many wins for them, in
So
my
many
opinion.
wins.
So
Yeah.
many wins. But when you don't win the game,
Yeah.
how does that moment define you? Can you see past that single moment to understand the foundation of what you've been able to do?
Well, I mean, I think the only people who can truly answer that is them themselves. I've never been in that spot, but I would hope that they are able to just, like, know they are more than this game, and they've already created so many pathways for female athletes and female like athletics as a whole, that no matter what, in the end of the day, today they're able to take it as a win, and they're able to say like, we won this, whether or not they have that like trophy in their hand. I hope they're able to do that, and I hope that they're able to just keep showing like companionship and know that they've created so many opportunities and just like broken down so many barriers for female sports and female athletics. I think that's really powerful.
It's amazing.
And I hope they both win. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what goes down.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I don't even know what to do with myself. So
They
Coach Dar,
won.
what do you think they're telling themselves today? Or what do you hope?
So
I'll change the question.
I think at the moment they feel the hurt of not, having that trophy. But even I saw it in an interview. It was like Caitlin still knew. They still knew that they advanced what they advanced. But it hurt in that moment not taking the trophy. But I bet today they're sitting there and their community and the people them around them are reminding them, you literally won in such a big way that it is beyond what the trophy could ever do. You have pushed history forward. That is a win.
And
I would be hugging her and saying like, this is history. The trophy or not, you've won on every level.
Completely.
They've done a great job.
And being in the moment with their friends and their teammates, because like they have a lot of spotlight, but it takes a team to win and lose, and they have like amazing community and teammates next to them that they're able to just play their sport with them and celebrate with them, or whatever it is with them.
Now, I wonder what you think, Dr. Tran. I'll give you the last thought on this question.
Yeah, I hope that they are asking themselves, what is my next win? And I'm saying that from this mindset that there's a lot to them for them to have accomplished what they accomplished. There is a lot to them as just human beings. And so what's their next win? Is it going to be a win with their family? Is it going to, I know they have great hopes for their professional careers. What are they going to do next? Because they've already done so many amazing things. They've proven that they can do amazing things. They don't necessarily have the trophy for it, but oh my gosh, they transformed a nation and a culture. How many people are watching women's sports?
Completely.
The foundation was already there.
Yeah.
What they helped do is build that foundation and grow that foundation. And I think it's important that we acknowledge there were so many others before them who didn't have the same ability and the same resources that we have now, and the same platforms that we have now. But there's always the one or the two in this particular case, or the storylines and the characters that further that conversation. I hope that we have been able to help some people today and tell them, or at least give them some insight from Dr. Tran's perspective, from Kate's perspective as a student athlete, from your perspective, Coach Dar, as someone who is living and walking and doing the work. I think it's really important that we remove all the shame and all the I guess the lack of vulnerability. And when we talk about our emotions, the biggest takeaway that I have today is that you ladies are awesome.
So are you.
So are you. Yeah,
So are you.
And I would love to work with you guys all the time. Kate is at how old are you?
I'm 21.
At 21, she's now my therapist because she has her life together.
I don't know about
head
that.
on straight, young lady. Head
Thank
on
you.
straight.
That's
So
kind.
thank you
You're
so much
amazing.
for spending the
Thank
time
you
and
so
talking to us.
much.
And thank everybody else for just sitting here and listening to our conversation. I appreciate you all for being
great
there.
questions.
Great questions, you guys. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We did it. Thank you for joining us on this episode of LG Transparent Conversations. For more episodes and to catch up on seasons 1 and 2, check out LG Transparent Conversations on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or lg.com/us/transparent-conversations.